of like the decision-making day of do I continue to let you make your own groups or do I just go back to assigning them? Because yesterday, being straight up, and if you were in class, this won't be a surprise, yesterday was frustrating when I gave you release time to work on solving a problem, and then many people didn't do anything. So as I called on people, you had nothing. So everybody should have a piece of graph paper out by now with a header on it, and if not, you should ask yourself, why not? What have I been doing since I walked into the classroom? Your homework should be written in your plan book, and if you're really winning on today, you could have already put that on a header for your homework. Like, I would just label both headers when I got to class because I know what I'm going to do for homework. I'm going to use a piece of graph paper and put that on the header. So today is more of what we were doing yesterday, kind of like deciphering word problems, analyzing what they mean, and solving whatever we can. But we're going to help the parent club build a fence. So your header, 532, solving word problems. We're solving a word problem. Anyone want to read for us? We're going to skip the first one and just move, like, the first paragraph and just go right to 104. I'm going to read our situation. We'll go with Sky today.
Okay. The parent club at Post Falls Middle School needs 183 feet of fencing to go around the rectangular outdoor basketball court behind the school gym. The club volunteers will only need to place a fence on three sides of the court because the wall of the gym will form the fourth side. The length of the court is 32 feet more than the width. One of the shorter sides will be 5 feet shorter than the other one to leave room for a gate.
Continue. You can go through the next one.
Your task part?
Yep.
Okay. Determine how much fencing will be used on each side of the court. Be prepared to justify your answer and show all of your work. Be sure that someone who is not on your team can read and understand your work.
That's the biggie. You should not have to explain it to somebody if you've written things down clearly. So, here's your discussion points for your team. What do we know, like what I just had highlighted up there? What do we actually need to figure out and kind of take it piece by piece? What diagram could you draw to help you? Like what picture can you make? How can you organize your work? And if you come up with a wrong answer, which a lot of times we'll end up with a couple wrong answers before we get to the right one, how can that help you and guide your thinking? So I want you just with your team right now, start drawing a picture and just kind of put on that picture what we know, like anything that will help us. Okay, so just start kind of trying to set up something on your paper that will help you. So if you draw a picture of the building and then the fence, or I don't care what you draw, just start talking with your team and draw something that would be helpful. All I'm asking you to do is draw a picture. Yeah. 5 feet wide to get machinery and stuff back there. If you only leave it 4 feet wide, that'd be really tough for like a bobcat or something to drive through. So like, if I install a new gate on my fence, I'm going at least 5 feet wide probably.
Bro, I got you. Bro.
Write in your notes the important information. Like, pull out of the problem what we care about. Natalie, what's one thing in the problem that we care about? Okay, so tell me what are you going to write then?
Okay. What do you mean?
If we're writing down important information, give me just one important thing to write down. If we start at the top of the paragraph, there's one important thing right off the bat. So our total fencing is going to be 183. that's worth writing down. So continue pulling things out of the problem. What's worth writing down? Then we're going to draw a picture. Keep going. As I said yesterday, I want to be more of a guide on the side and kind of talking you all the way through things. You guys figuring out with your group. I don't know.
It sounded like the 180.
I knew what you were going for. So continue talking about the problem. The first thing you told was the first thing you said when I called you was length. So we go look at the length.
Length is
The
30
length.
feet more than the width.
So we make length the long side and width the short side.
Then we do 183 minus 32.
Probably using the back of this sheet, right?
We're gonna be using that, yeah. Apparently, I'm going to keep testing your group. Skylar, give me something else we care about.
The length is 32 feet more than the width.
The length is 32 feet more than, so I'm going to add 32 feet to the width. So if I say that the building is on this side, so I don't need a fence. This is the width, the length, and then this width, though, leaves space for a gate. So how do we, and don't answer this out loud, how could we talk about this distance of fence right here? Because I don't think it's going to be W. Talk with your team. Then try to solve the problem of how long is the width, how long is the length, and how long is this other width. I'm not going to say anything, like probably to anybody. Maybe I'll talk with Riley, but for the next 3 minutes, I want to see if you guys can figure it out. Now, for what it's worth, many of you have figured out by now the back of that reference sheet, this from the other day, the back of it has parts of this task on it.
Oh, I didn't realize.
You don't really need that yet. I was encouraging you guys to do it on your own first.
This looks confusing.
But yeah, so I would, if that doesn't make sense, I would not use it.
Yeah, I know you might. You said that it's still the
Well, it's going to be width, but then so the gate you normally like buy that separate, or you have to buy a gate and fence it. So for fencing that is this stretch, the gate is going to be different.
You are.
For that amount of fencing, makes sense to me. Oh, thank you.
You have that immaculate width plus 32.
Oh, W minus 5. Maybe it shouldn't be. But it no, it's why is it trash? Well, bro, I said minus not trash. Minus 6.
No, we aren't. We're looking to find out the length of the fences. Area
Okay, so Steve just got us
Wait a minute. 9 minutes.
Yeah, I need to wait, okay. So that is E. Realize. Wait, what are we trying to
So we're doing
L. What is W?
If a group has this solved, when I start talking in 37 seconds, you get candy.
Nice. I want candy. Okay, so the width is. So then we would do 108.
What would motivate you? A free homework problem?
151.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like a free. For a moment, I was scared you were choking. Can we chew and swallow before we try to talk? Because I don't really want to see what's in your mouth right now. All right. You need to swallow before I call on you, but Brendan thinks he knows the answer. Skylar and Jalen got their hands up. You think?
146. No, that's not the width.
The width is 146, and the total fence is 1.
Oh, that's
83. That's impossible.
So it doesn't seem like your group has it figured out yet. Maybe one of you might.
Skylar knows.
Brody, do you know what Brandon's going to tell me? So it doesn't seem like your group has it figured out yet. So guys, as we move forward, I don't care, no offense, but I don't care if one of you can solve it. I care if your group has talked about it. So don't think that if you raise your hand to try to answer it, I'm just going to directly call on you. I'm likely going to call on somebody else in your group. So if you look at the drawing on the back of the paper, that might be kind of confusing, so ignore that for a moment. If we look at this, I had a lot of people as they came around tell me what they thought we were going to label for our side with the gate. So Joey, when I came by, you told me for the side with the gate. Joey labeled that side W minus 5. Hey, bring it back together, guys. So, on your drawing, or sorry, like on the diagram on your resource page, they have these kind of bolded. This is the length, but we already know that the length is width and 32. So they use those bold lines to show, well, that's a width, and that's also a width, and then there's 32 extra. And then we've got a width, but take away 5. So, on your paper, please write fencing. We have W and W plus 32. And what?
W minus 5.
Ooh, but we hate subtraction.
Or plus -5.
So W plus -5.
Why do we hate
Because it's gross.
This is also gross.
You are correct. All right, so group your like terms, and with your team, agree on what expression, right, a variable term and a number, represents our total fencing. Take like 30 seconds to agree what expression represents our total fencing.
Well, I got 3W plus 27.
No,
Because
no,
there are
every
3 with a like, and then 32 minus 5 is 27.
We thought we did. So excited.
Okay.
I thought I did. And then I realized I
No!
Isaac, what do you guys think that expression would be?
Wait. 3W plus 20.
Yeah? Yeah.
Oh, wait.
You-
20. 7.
Yeah, 3W plus 27. So, now look at your resource page. So, on the resource page, this is what we call the 5D process. And guys, we are going to have mastery assessments where I like give this as an option, and I probably even give the setup of these columns. So just put your pencils down. All I want you to do is look up here right now. The 5D process stands for the stuff we're gonna do, because an acronym of DDDDD just sounds like you're singing or something. So describe and or draw. Describe what is important. Like as we started writing down, the total was 183, the length was W plus 32. That's the important stuff. And then we drew a picture, right? They put their building down here, but because what I had to work with, I put my building up top. But they've got their width and another width, which they labeled the same. Then they got an extra 32. And then they show that we got to take away 5, missing from this side, which is not a bold line because those bold lines were W. Now, they didn't put variables up here. Notice they just made the picture because they didn't have to put variables. But then they start experimenting and testing stuff out. So we're going to define, essentially this means guess, what might be an answer. So the first thing they try is 10. If I make side 1 10, that's my width, right? I made W10 essentially. Guys, it's like, you don't mean to stop in the middle of things, but as I look around, it's easy to tell if you're not paying attention. This then would also be 10, making this side 42, and then this side, side 2, I don't know why they labeled it 2, but if it's missing 5 feet, it's 5. So if W, if we made the width 10, we'd have a 10, a 5, and a 42. So if we add them all together, we used 57 feet of fencing. And then a 5-foot wide gate, right? Which I had that conversation with a couple of you that gates are different than fences. They're built differently. Like you're going to pay more for a gate than you will for fence. Too small. This did not work. I want your group to keep experimenting. They already showed you 20 is also too small. Now, this is not the only way you can solve this, but I want your group to continue. Now, the groups that think that you have it, I'll come around and check you, but you know 20 is too small. So if you think it's something under 20, you're too small. So take like 3 minutes again on this. Hey, Colin.
I'm still drawing it out.
Oh, you were here. Mr. Hudson, he needs a resource page. You wasn't here.
If you don't have a resource page, come over here. Oh, you are here. I thought I heard you were out today. Did you guys get here late? Oh, okay. Do you still have your math textbook? It's like 40 something. I think we need to talk at some point because you were already left on your winter trip.
Mine is 32. I haven't even 30.
We collected all of them right before break, and yours wasn't here. You were gone already, but I think yours is either in your locker or at your house. So we need to figure out where your book is. We can talk later, but we just need to figure out where your book is, or if it's missing, we need to figure that What else have we figured out to be too small or too big?
Or 30.
30 is what? Too small, too big?
Small.
Too small?
Yeah, no, it's not.
30 for the width?
50 is too small.
If we do 30, what's 30 minus 5? 25. And what's 30 plus 32? 60. So if we add all those up, do we get 183? No.
Oh, you're
It's
adding 2? Oh.
You gotta add up all 3 sides of the fence. Right? All 3 fence sections. Labiba?
I tried 50. It's too small.
50 is still too small? Anyone think they have it? So Brendan, I will come back to you because you had told me minutes ago. No? Okay. Ethan?
I know what it is.
Yeah.
It's 52.
52 if we try that with our experiment. What's 52 minus 5? 47. 52 plus 32, break it up. 84. Add those up. What do we get?
183.
And we have found our solution. Now, this method always works. However, who thinks there's probably a faster way?
Oh my god.
Yeah, guess and check. So guys, that method is, it's the 5D process, but that's essentially guess and check. Try out an option, see if it works. If not, change based off that. Now, there are quicker other ways that you don't have to know quite yet, but it will jump you like more quickly to the end. So we said the total fencing we needed was 3W plus 27, right? We all have this written down in our notes.
Yeah.
How much total fencing do we know that they use?
183.
183. So please have this equation in your notes. 183 equals 3W plus 27. So I'm going to show you the shortcut that will save you boatloads of time. And as I've said many times before, I'm here to make your life easier.
I gotta highlight that.
Now what we want to do is get the W by itself, right? To figure out what just a single W is.
So then you
What should I get rid of to make that happen? Riley, what do you want me to get rid of?
I think that you should get rid of I think that we should get rid of 3.
We will, but we gotta wait to do that. When solving equations, we're working backwards through the order of operations. So we want to add or subtract first to get rid of addition or subtraction. This 27 is added with W. How do we undo addition? Subtraction. So subtract 27. Please show this. If I was you, I'd use a different color. That's obvious since I am using a different color. 183 minus 27, break it. Take the 7 off first. Brings us down to 176. Then take the 20 off. Yeah, Mr. Estes' laugh is funny.
I got 153.
Yeah, I sometimes get... no, it can't be 153. Because we took away 27. I sometimes can't do math, but sometimes I can. Now, Riley, coming back to you.
Now we can get rid of the 3.
How?
Well, you gotta divide.
Aiden, you can use a calculator,
Oh, right.
but you don't need to. Hold it. Nope, stop. What's 15 divided by 3? 5. What's 6 divided by 3? 2. Your answer's 52.
We're geniuses.
Division's not always gross. We just don't like it as much as multiplication.
No, I don't.
All right. Knowing this knowledge, you may choose either route you want. Now, on a mastery assessment, especially if I forget to change how it's typed up, it might say, use the 5D process. On your homework, it might say, use the 5D process. You do not have to. Give me your eyeballs. I want to make sure we all hear this so I don't get like frantic text messages because this is what happened last year. You don't have to use the 5D process. You can if you want. Totally open option, but it does take longer. It'll work, but it takes longer. So on this next problem, if you want, you can use the 5D process. Or if your group decides you can use another strategy, such as solving the equation. So,
Are we on 109?
we are. We're jumping off. So everything we just did was all the problems between 104 and 109. Like I just kind of lumped it all together. It was just now do this part of this, now do this part. I just do it on my own because I don't need to go step by step in the textbook. I see you look upset at me, but it's okay. Now, Laura takes very good care of her vehicles. Actually, I actually just had to put new tires on my car last night trying to take care of my vehicle. It hurt. It hurt to the tune of $731.
Oh,
So, Laura, actually that was a pretty good deal on tires. Laura owns a blue van and a red truck. Hey guys, I was literally telling the afternoon class how they're better than you guys because they always end up getting homework time and you often don't. No offense, but if we want to talk about efficiently getting through class, I get it because it's morning and you're all still kind of like wired and you're like, yeah, we're at school. But we almost never have a chance to work on practice in here. And I spend so much time just shushing or waiting. I've actually been bad this year. I should just wait. I normally just sit there and stare at you and make it awkward until people stop talking. And then most of the time, like half the class ends up looking at the person talking, and then it's really awkward. So Laura owns a red truck and a blue van. She bought them both new, but she's owned the truck for 17 years longer than she's owned the van. The sum of the vehicle ages is 41. How old is the van and how old is the truck? If your group is awesome and you get done with that real fast, move on to Ryan's situation, which I'm not even going to read for you. But we are trying to help Laura and Ryan solve these two situations. If you choose to use the 5D process, I already have it set up here for you. The back of it is open 5D processes. Like there's nothing labeled. But here the columns are already labeled van and truck, and then Ryan's number and whatever else. So set this up however you want. You could use equations to solve this, but the 5D probably would be easier at this point. You should have books. Sorry, I'm moving that up to the TV. I don't want to write things.
It was me. I sneezed.
So I'm not going to say anything else for the next 4 minutes. I'm like going to hold myself accountable to this, and I kind of watch the clock up there on the recording. I believe that within that 4 minutes, your group should be able to solve A for sure, and hopefully be able to move on to B. If you want to talk with other groups, totally fine, but I'm not taking questions or anything for the next 4 minutes. Use each other.
Give me back my leg. Yes.
It's graphite.
Give me back my rabbit. No.
The rules of
Ryan is also
I'm
number 3.
Okay, God, we need to get work done. Not be trying to do this.
So I know I said an observation I just made. It seems like many of you like to say you don't need to do this, but then you don't actually do it. You like to tell the group what they need to do, but you don't actually make it happen. It's peculiar. Because saying we have to get work done and then bursting into laughter is kind of counterproductive.
I'm a dad.
Or check with another team, see if they got the same thing. Anyone else totally done? Adrian wants to check some answers with someone. I have 30 more seconds till I'm allowed to do anything.
3. So which one? I don't know. The truck is 29 years old. The van is 12 years old. Directly.
Found that on my floor. You're lucky I like it.
I was talking to Adrian.
Alright, random cards. Now you never told me this, but Ivan, I caught wind of the fact that that's not what I should be calling you now. Are you going by Yvonne now? Or Ivan? Or what do I call you? Just help me out. You were gone for a while.
What do you prefer?
What do you want me to call you?
Should not be heard.
Okay. Ivan, what can you tell, what did you write down? What helped you solve this? Give me something. What do we know about the truck, or what do we know about the van? We have a comparison between them, right? The truck is 17 years older than the van, so I could say V plus 17, and then the van is just V. So what I saw a lot of you do, instead of going guess check, is you essentially said, well, okay, if the truck is V and 17 and the van is V, then what we really have is 2V plus 17 to equal 41. Now, you could totally guess check. Like, what if this is 10 and that's 10 and then this is 27 and 10 and that wouldn't work? And we could get ourselves there. But if we set up this equation, what do you do first? Anybody? Anybody. Just so to shout.
Oh, okay, so wait.
Minus 17. Thank you for clearly telling me what to do instead of just saying, wait, wanting to control the class. What do we get there? Like 24, I think I saw written on papers.
24. Yeah.
Which means V is
12.
12.
Oh.
If 2 V's is 24, V is 12 because we divide by 2. Now, if we took the 5D process, totally fine. But that, like, truck being V plus 17 is probably one of the things I would write up here. Truck plus van being 41 is something that I'd write up here. So this, we're asking, is it 41? And then I can try stuff out. Now, if I know that it comes out to be 12, if I try 10, it'll be too small. If I try 11, it'll be too small. And I keep bumping up, but then when I try 12, and then that makes my truck 29,
Yeah.
that works. 12 plus 29 equals 41, and it checks out. So that's how we could utilize the 5D process there. Moving on to Ryan's, which, by the way, then the declare, the last D, is just the answers. So then we would say, the van is 12, the truck is 29, right? Ryan's situation, Ryan's thinking of a number. When he multiplies this number by 6 and then subtracts 15 from that answer, he ends up with his original number. Interesting.
Oh, okay.
So, help me out here. Adrian, give me something.
Like, do you want me to give you the answer?
No, like how did you get there?
I started going through numbers in my head. 1 wouldn't work because that's 6. That would give you a negative. I tried 2. That would give you 12. That would still be a negative. And then I tried 3.
So the trying that you're talking about is doing 6 times whatever number you picked, and then minusing 15. So you said 1 didn't work, because that actually comes up with a negative number. 2 didn't work. 3. So Adrian said when he tried 3, 6 times 3 gives me 18 minus 15. And that works out. Now, did anybody, so I'll be really curious to see this, solve it using an equation instead of the guess check method?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I did.
What equation do I set up then, Riley?
Oh, no, not for this one, but for the other one.
Oh, yeah, we showed the equation solution for the other one. You maybe zoned out for a second. We showed that.
I meant like I did a different thing for Laura.
Okay. We might come back to that. I want to show this one before we end class. If we say he starts with a number, multiplies it by 6, takes away 15, and ends up with the original number, write that on your paper, please. Trust me. Please trust me. I'm over teaching right now, but this is to prep you for stuff that is coming in like 2 weeks. So it's like you're not going to be asked to show mastery on this soon, but we will. So this is, if you like want to talk about what type of problem this is an equation with variables on both sides. Now they're the same variable, right? His number and his number, although this is 6 times his number. We still want to do the same process we've been doing, but here, watch me for a second, then write it down. Okay? Just give me your eyes. Put your pencils down. I want to get my x's together. I can either subtract 6x to get rid of them on this side and push them over here, or the easier option normally is get rid of the smaller x value. So if I get rid of x, then, and please do not write this yet, I'll give you time, I then have 5x minus 15, but my right side, and this is what confuses people normally, hey Sophia, I've asked people to put their utensils down twice. I don't think I can trust you with those things, because I already had to take away Post-its yesterday. Can I see you after class? Like, this is one of those moments where, like, I'm pretty frustrated right now. This is nothing over here, right? X minus X. I got nothing over there. Put 0, like I can put 0 there. This doesn't like break the problem or anything. Then I want to move this over to this side, right? Because I have variables over here. How do I get rid of a minus 15? Add 15. That gives me 5x equal to 15, which means what's x? 3, like we just found. So that's how we could use an equation. But realize, for you with what you know right now, the guess and check method of the 5D process is probably a safer way to solve. You could double check it with something like this. Or try something like this and double check it with the 5D process. Okay, you got a couple minutes till I can release you, so you can start on homework if you want. At least you could head your homework paper. And I'll put like the first homework problem up here so you can do it if you want. Hey Sophia, can we chat?
Yeah.